Hello and welcome to a Stratocaster loving, specifically this made in Japan model. Built in Japan in 1996, and it's got a little gold label on the back that basically says 50 years of Fender excellence between 1946 and 1996. So yeah, obviously this guitar was created part for that reason. It's what's the word I'm thinking? It's a vintage spec, really. Yeah, vintage spec with the 7.5-inch radius neck, vintage tuners on it, steel, old steel, pressed steel bridge there. 3 pickups. I know not which type of Fender Strat pickup they are, but they sound pretty good to me. Medium jumbo frets, something like that, I would imagine. The usual 2 tones and a volume, and the 5-way selector. Now, the only elephant in the room with this guitar is the tone here is not connected to the bridge pickup like most versions are these days. But apparently it's an easy mod if you wanted somebody to fancy a guitar like this, so this vintage, and you want, apparently it's an easy mod. If you can't do it, I'm sure you find somebody to do that for you. But yeah, it's wide open basically in the bridge position, and that gives it quite a biting trebly sound, which isn't for everyone, but it's certainly a vintage Strat sound. So let's get some sounds out of this thing. I'm on the neck position. I've got a little bit of reverb from the Strymon Flint, and I'm just going to play along to a little bit of funky backing track. There, it's a classic Fender tone there, very kind of, I suppose, glassy, plummy. People love the Strat. The Strat neck pickup is one of the classic pickups in guitar history, and this one captures it very nicely. And when you compare it to my Sir Strat, this is a bit more mid-rangey. The pickups on this are a bit more rangey, a bit more powerful. They are different beasts, but the Strat, this does a great job getting Strat sounds, but with that modern feel and touch. Yeah, but we'll talk about that another day, and we'll stick with our 1996 made in Japan Fender Strat. So yeah, that's Daphne blue, apparently the colour originally. It's sort of going a weird surfy green. Sea foamy green, difficult to say. I was just glancing over my Palo, which is sea foamy green. It's not too far from that. So we'll carry on with the sounds, and we'll just put a little bit of fuzz on. Fun. Magnificent. So yeah, that's the neck pickup. It's one of the great pickups in guitar history, and this one does it more than adequately well. So we'll go to the 4th position. I like to refer to the Cory Wong position these days, because if you've seen Cory Wong, and I'm almost going on about Cory Wong, but he's a rhythm guitar genius. You see Cory Wong, I believe he's got like it just taped into the 4th position, so he can't knock it out in the 4th position. He's such a fan of that sound. But we'll try it with a funk track again. spinal cord, but yeah, we don't want the Noppler police knocking on the door, but yeah, the classic sounds, and it does those again absolutely perfectly. Middle pickup, favoured by Eric Clapton apparently, but not favoured by that many other people, including myself. I just find it a little bit neutral and a little bit lacking character. But that can be a good thing if you want to add sounds to it. We'll have a quick goosey on it. We'll put some Trem on, say. I think it's a pickup that I like adding effects to rather than having just a straight sound on it, but it's there if you want it. Now the very familiar position 2, now, you know, one of my favourites again on Strat. B minor always sounds quite good for this sort of sound. Hoping that the logarithm there is not detecting any floydiness, but you know, you get the picture with that pickup. So classic. Beautiful. And yeah, it's interesting comparing this to the Sir take on things. To me, this, like I say, 25-year-old guitar, which puts it probably in the vintage category now, I suppose. It has kind of vintage mojo. I mean, the neck's glossed within an inch of its life. Nothing wrong with that, of course. And you can always remove that if you wanted to in the back, certainly. But I've just left it as is. Most modern Strats nowadays, it's more of a satin finish, isn't it? Yeah. It's an excellent choice for anybody who's looking for something, get into, I wouldn't describe it as the vintage guitar market exactly, but something with a little bit of age, a little bit of mojo that's not going to break the bank. I certainly wouldn't go paying above what the Mexican, sort of things like the Mexican Player Series, stuff like that, isn't it? And I certainly probably drop a little bit below that even. But, when I looked on the internet, you could buy a new one made in Japan Strat, so we're going for roughly about $11.50 at the time I made this video. So obviously you want to come well in below that figure. So yeah, the made in Mexico stuff would be a good guide, I would suggest. I reckon if you rummage around on eBay and all the rest of it, you know, and Reverb and what have you, you'll find something like this, a 90s one or an early noughties one. That shouldn't break the bank, but give you that little bit of vintage Fender sound. So get yourselves in there if you fancy it. There's all sorts of information on the internet about serial numbers and things like that. You know, you want to check out the year of the thing and all the rest of it. So, well worth doing. Which brings me on to the bridge pickup. So Captain Glass this thing, as you would expect. Going into the Victory V44, which is a Plexi style amp, so you're getting extra bite and extra glass for your money. Let's see what we can come up with. That one's a little backing track. We'll see if we can get some rockier sounds out of it. respectable. That was the BB Preamp. Andy Timmons going into the victory there. And you can get big, kind of bold, classic rock and metal-y sounds out of a Strat. Don't let anybody tell you you can't. It's a rubbish. It's a myth. I've done loads of live gigs with the Strat, especially the Sir Strat, and got some really heavy sounds out of it. In your approach there, look at Richie Kotzen there, another guitar player I really admire these days. He had that tellied in the signature telly. I think the pickups were tweaked, yeah, for a bit more output. And now he's using a Strat into his victory amps there, his signature victory amps, and he gets some huge sounds. And you can do it. So you just got to, you know, a little bit of think how you want to amplify and use pedals, but it can be done, and don't let people tell you any otherwise. So let's just have a little go at classy. Yeah, sort of chord like that, a rock or metal chord like that. Still very usable. Very, very usable. So yeah, I hope you got something out of this video. Yeah, I genuinely believe that the second-hand market is getting a little bit out of control at the moment, because there just aren't the workforce, and of course there's plenty of supply issues due to the lack of workforce as well. And so there's not even the parts getting manufactured. So getting hold of the new guitars now I think is going to become increasingly difficult, and because of that, the second-hand market, the people selling second-hand, thinking, well, yeah, there's this demand for guitars, and I've got this more second-hand guitar. You know, I'm going to hike a little bit of a premium on there, but I still think these guitars, ladies, and don't rule out the Squire Vibe series. Absolutely brilliant guitars as well, and they're made, as I say, they're made in Mexico stuff as well. Don't rule out any of those. They're all really, really good, excellent guitars you can gig with. I gigged with my Squire HSS Strat for years, like totally at home and comfortable with it. So don't, you know, the guitar snobbery thing is just, don't even go there with, you know, especially with these things. They're excellent. So happy shopping. Hunt around Reverb, eBay, or whatever your poison is, and you even see them coming up in, you know, sale in the some of the sort of the bigger outlets occasionally. So we trade something in, and to me they're worth every penny if you're looking for a Strat with a bit of vintage mojo that you don't want to pay an absolute fortune for. I mean, your custom Strats now, they're getting to that £4 mark and above. So, you know, think on if you want to just get your foot on the ladder of the vintage guitar market without paying a small fortune. So it just remains me to say, stay safe out there, guys. Take care. I appreciate people viewing this channel, especially the longer vids, but sometimes there's no way around. You just got to let the camera roll a bit. So stay safe. Beg your pardon. Stay safe. I will say that again. It's been a long day. Stay safe, guys. Take care.